Hey y'all, welcome to Hush Harbor. Hush Harbor, for those who don't know, is a place where enslaved African Americans would go to practice religious traditions and uplift each other, at those times. And I feel like now is a time where through this platform, through this channel, I want to create the conversations and talk about the serious topics that needs to be had in the households with the kids, the parents, whoever, at work, outside, you name it. And with today's topic being it's Father's Day, it's going to be about fatherhood. So it's a roundabout table conversation to have with different fathers with different backgrounds in 3 different segments. And today's segment is going to be covering fatherhood, manhood, and being a partner. So without further ado, here's the first episode.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Hush Harbor's Father's Day discussion. Happy Father's Day. My name is Henry Wanamaker, and I'm a father. I've been married to my wife for almost 25 years. We have 2 sons, and my favorite part about being a father is being able to watch my sons become the men that they're going to become. And I'm going to kick off the discussion to my far left. I'm going to ask you the same questions. Please share your name, your background, and your favorite part about being a father.
My name is Jude Sanjor. I'm a fashion professional. I've been working in the fashion space for about 20 years now. I'm a father of 2, a boy dad. And favorite part about being a dad is just getting, to guide my kids and, mold these little human beings and, help them through this journey of life.
Awesome.
Dope. My name is Bryce Oliver. I am a director DP. I have a company called the Hutchinson House with my wife. I have 2 girls, so girl dad, shout out to Kobe. And my favorite part of being a father is watching my kids discover themselves, discover the world, get to see the world through their eyes, and then get to see us. And then also, like you guys said, watching them become the women that they're meant to be. Sure.
Awesome.
Me and myself, I'm Francis Coleman. I'm a firefighter for 9 years. And my favorite part about being a father, for me, it would be making it fun. I know it comes with a lot of stress and discipline at times. And I just like to make things not as stressful or not so responsibility or accountability, just fun and seeing my daughter smile. So that's my part.
Awesome.
So what's up, everyone? My name is Kevin Riley. I'm a New York City council member. I am an author of a children's book, Hopping Through Life, Tales of a Fatherless Father. And I'm also a college professor at Metropolitan College of New York. I think my favorite part about being a father, I have 3 beautiful children, 2 beautiful girls, 1 son. It's just the personal growth. I think my personal growth as becoming a father, fatherhood is extremely important to me because it was robbed from me, I feel like, when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And the opportunity of just becoming a father here today and watching my kids go through their own, growth, 3 children with 3 different personalities is something that I admire. I'm looking forward to, watching them get older.
Love being with all you fathers this afternoon. So, Kevin, I want to ask you, what does being a man mean to you? And then I want you to answer, what does a father mean to you? And then what does being a partner mean to you?
Wow, it's a very dense question.
It's loaded.
Very loaded. So I think I'm still defining what being a man is to me each and every single day. I recently have just finished a book, The Man, The Moment Demands by Jason Wilson. One of my favorite authors, and he always describes about becoming a comprehensive man. Mm-hmm. That's a man that deals with his emotions, a man that doesn't just lead with masculinity. And I really tapped into that when I was having my son. Growing up, it was always taught to us we had to be hard, mm-hmm. We had to make sure we didn't show any emotions. And the older I got, I realized that me not building those or learning those principles of emotional intelligence kind of led me to go down or make bad decisions. And I didn't want that for any of my children, especially my son, especially because he's going to be molded and watch himself, being raised and, mimicking me. So I think becoming a man is knowing that each time, every moment demands a different version of you. Being a father just makes sure that you're present. I think there's no blueprint or no guidance to how to be a parent or a father. It's just making sure that you're present with time. And I think being a partner is making sure that you're having comprehensive communication with your spouse. I've been married, I'm going on 4 years now with my wife. And we have 3 beautiful children together. And it's just understand that, hey, I'm Caribbean, her parents are from here. Mm-hmm. So, we have 2 different styles of, raising children. So it's just having, comprehensive communication within yourself. I think that's the best part about being a spouse.
Great answers. I want to come back to you about the raising part.
Okay.
How that works out.
For me, what's the question again?
Sure. What does being a man mean to you? What does being a father mean to you? And what does being a partner mean to you?
One, I would say being a man, the first thing that pops out to me is handling responsibilities. Being able to say things and actually do it as well. Take action, but also being able to listen. Because a lot of times we are the ones saying and putting our foot down and leading, but a lot of times we don't know that we're supposed to listen as well. So I think that part is as a man. Father, what does it mean to me? It means everything to me. I didn't have my father growing up. I barely had my mom growing up. So me and my daughter is kind of going through this together. So it's everything for me. It's life. Being a partner, I'm still learning that. I'll be honest. So okay. I can't answer being a partner yet. I'm still learning that.
Respect your honesty. Appreciate it. Bryce.
So being a man to me, similar to Francis, like being a man, your word, right? You say something, you do it, right? Being a protector. I think as men, we have to protect everyone around us, right? Like, even if anything happened to anybody in this space, I'd want to step up and protect them, Being a father, similar to my brothers over here, like, didn't grow up with a father. So, I look at being a father as a privilege. I think it's a privilege to get to be a father. Mm-hmm. And every day I treat that the same way. Like, I love my kids. My oldest is not from me, mm-hmm. but she's mine from the day me and my wife started dating. That was my daughter. So, she lost her father tragically. So, like, that's my daughter. Like, and what was the third question?
Sure.
Being a partner. Right. Being a partner with my wife. I'm a partner with my wife through business. I'm a partner with my wife through everything. I mean, it's about being present. It's about communication. Big on communication, because if you don't communicate with her, it's over. Everything falls apart. Yeah. Everything. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
Can I ask you one more question about that? How is the transition for you, with a blended family? How is that transition?
It's been tough, right? My oldest, her dad died suddenly, in front of her mom. So it's like crazy. So it's been tough. That's like a challenge every day. But me and my wife are big on choosing each other every day. So every day we wake up, it's the choice of being a father, being a husband every single day, and choosing love. Because it's easy just to like kind of let it go away. I mean, I've watched it in my life. I watched my father just give up, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't want to do this anymore. So, yeah, it's like, God make the hard decision. God make the hard choice. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thankfully for me, I'm fortunate enough to say I had my father in my life, and I had an example set for me. I call my dad a good dad. He was tough at times, but he was a great dad. And I think being a man, watching him, being a man is just being dependable, being somebody that the family can depend on, your friends can depend on, your loved ones. It's just being dependable. That's being a man.
Cool.
I think in terms of being a father, I think it's being a guiding light to your kids. Also being an example. There's a lot of the same components to these questions and answers, right? And being a spouse or a partner, I think it's being a support system for that other person. We all deal with a lot in life, and we kind of sometimes fight battles alone, but when you have that right partner, it's okay to kind of come to them and dump on them a little bit and get that relief from your partner. So.
Okay. For me, being a man also means a lot of, has already been said, but taking responsibility. And I think there's like a milestone, not necessarily towards age, but when I could start thinking more independently from my parents and being able to take initiative and do things that would show my growth as a person, as a man. Also, just, being able to be accountable too, as a man, for my actions. Being a father is really important because I was fortunate. I had my father, but he died when I was 22. So before I became a father, I at least had the early part of my life where I was able to see an example of a dad who really took care of his family. So that meant a lot to me, to be there for my sons. I think someone said being present, that's very important for my sons to see a man. One of the things I knew that I had to do was make sure when we had meet the teacher night that I had to be present, so they saw the father. And then being a partner is exactly what the word says, being a partner in the relationship and not letting it be one-sided. We, try to do things equally and share responsibilities and just love my partner unconditionally and hopefully receive that in return. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I'm gonna start with Bryce. What were your circumstances, and you kind of answer this, but what were your circumstances stepping into fatherhood?
Right. So like I said, my oldest is not, from me. So once my wife and I started dating, stepping up, being a dad, I did the best I could, right? You're going into a situation and you're like, all right, well, this is a child that needs a father, that needs to, that deserves a father, right? And needs to see that example, like you guys said. So stuff was sad. It was everything for me. It was hard, bump my head a lot, right? Because you think you know until you know. Right. So that was, dealing with that. And then recently we had a daughter, my other daughter, Emery. So she's 1 now. And that was a surreal experience, witnessing childbirth. That is
Life-changing.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm still processing, all the emotions that happened during that time. It's beautiful. It is beautiful, just to see how strong women are, right? That they're able to birth life, to see that. So I don't know if I answered the question. I feel like I was a little bit going on a tangent.
Yeah, that was fine. I think, again, how you received that.
Yeah, that's how I
So what were your
received it,
circumstances stepping into fatherhood? And that explains a lot.
Perfect.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm going to switch up, go this way.
No, we going around.
Kevin.
Yeah.
What were your circumstances stepping into fatherhood?
I think when I stepped into fatherhood, I was still young-minded. I became a father at 27 years old with my first daughter, who's about to be 10 actually, so I'm about to be 10 years in the game of fatherhood. Thank you.
Facts.
But just my wife and I, we just moved in together. And at that time, and I should have answered this when you asked the partner question. I went into this as this is a gender role type of situation where I'm the father, I'm going to be the man in the house, you're the mother, you're going to be the woman in the house. We're going to do specific things without understanding that this is a partnership. There's no gender roles when you have your household. Like I'm in the morning time, I'm getting the kids ready. I'd rather my wife rest because I know I have a very, challenging job where I'm not as home as much, and she'll probably be home with the kids. So I'll make sure that I do as much as possible, with the kids as possible. So I think as time goes along and growth happens, and I get older and I get wiser and all these children come, the circumstances have changed because I've been able to learn as much as possible. So I would say my circumstances going into fatherhood, I wasn't at that mindset to that I am today, and that's because, like I stated, my father was incarcerated majority of my life, and then he was deported back to Jamaica. I talked to him every single Sunday, but I didn't have that father in my household, and I didn't see what that fatherhood, role was. So I would say going into the circumstance, I was very young-minded, but I'm glad that I got out of that now.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Jude. What were the circumstances? What were your circumstances stepping into fatherhood?
Similar to Kevin, I think I was quite immature, becoming a first-time father almost 9 years ago now. And just kind of learning. Thankfully I had a support system, with my family and then my son's mom's family, and able to figure things out as I went along. I think this time around, I now have a 5-month-old. I'm more of a mature person. I'm a mature man. Less help. So it's kind of, you still have to figure things out, but you're more prepared this time around, at least in my case.
Okay, cool. We'll come back to that too.
For me, my circumstances walking into fatherhood. I was a kid. I don't know. Yeah, I know y'all said y'all ages. I was 24 for my first kid. At the time, I was rapping. I just dropped out of college to rap. I'm living at my grandmother's house. And what do you know? You have someone you're dating and they say they're pregnant. Y'all both know what y'all been doing. And then now the clock is ticking, right? So walking in, I was always happy to become a father, knowing that I could change the background, my own background. So I wasn't too scared, but it was definitely a wake-up call. It definitely changed me in every single way. The Francis that didn't have a kid and the Francis that now has a almost 9-year-old are two completely different people. So, yeah.
Okay. It's good to know. I think, like everyone else said, your circumstances, everybody has, when they have their children at different points in their life. I was in my early 30s when I had our first son, and you can read books. They have, what to expect when you're expecting for the mothers, and then the expectant father. I had that on hand when I was reading, but you're never really completely prepared, I think, because we had two situations that were different. I think you said you would be ready, more prepared this time around. So the first, our first son was a week late, and so we were waiting. I had took off work. I already put in my time off request, thinking he was going to come earlier, and I used up half of my time while I was waiting. And then our second son, we thought we had it all figured out. He came 2.5 years later. He was due May 31st. We went in for a prenatal visit, and they said, we got to take her in tonight. So I had nothing prepared, and I had to put the crib together and all that stuff again. But I think that's what was great, because you really are coming into this experience, and each experience is new and different. Mm-hmm. So, but I want to come back, if I can, real quick, because you mentioned something, Kevin, gender roles. Yeah. What do you feel about gender roles? Because I had to change diapers. Sometimes people are old school; they don't change diapers. I'm not touching all that stuff. How about y'all? What was that like in terms of gender roles? I'll start with you, Francis.
Gender roles, to an extent, I don't really believe in them. I feel like, especially when you're dating somebody within the relationship, I won't even use the word gender, roles will start to take place. And I look at it as the best person for the job. So it doesn't really, like, for instance, let's say a woman's supposed to cook and clean, but let's say my food actually tastes better. Right? Let's say my food actually tastes better. I'm the one that's going to be cooking. So I don't really get into gender roles, but I do believe in roles. And then whoever should fit for which role is the best person for the job.
Awesome.
And the two people involved will figure that out with good communication.
I like that answer. Bryce.
I don't think he got to say anything else. I mean, I think that was it. No, seriously, because that's how it is in our household. Like, yo, the best person for the job, that's the person who's gonna do it. Wife cooks, she's an amazing cook, but she can't cook Caribbean food, so I'm chefing with the Rasta pasta. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's so I don't mind doing any of the kids. I do homework with my daughter. You know, my oldest daughter Lila, she's 11. She just turned 11, so I do homework with her. I do diapers with Emery. I do drop-offs to school. We do parent-teacher conferences. It doesn't matter. Like, whatever it is, I clean the house, she clean the house. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I mean, yeah, as far as, like, the roles that start to define themselves, like, I still consider myself the leader of my household. So, like that doesn't change for me, right. You know? But as far as, like, the day-to-day, like, oh, the wife's supposed to cook and clean, like, nah. We getting dirty. Like, whatever it takes.
Can I interject with the leading? Even with leading, I don't even look at that as a gender role, right?
Yeah.
Or because you could lead in one aspect, right. But once it comes to emotions, 9 out of 10 she leads. You know what I'm saying? So there's going to be multiple areas where you may take charge and then the next person take charge, and it just keeps recycling.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you said I mean, you can answer the question, Jude, please. But I really think that you had the best way. Like, the roles start to just define themselves just based on whoever is the best person for the job. Like, we're buying a house right now, and you know, I talk to the mortgage guy, but my wife is the one that's finding the houses. My wife is the one that's leading in talking to the realtor, doing the inspections, like all those things. My wife is still leading in that, even though I may be leading in getting the actual house. Like, it's still, she's taking that role and leading in that aspect. So I agree with you 100%.
Jude?
You know, since this is on camera and documented, my lady, you're the boss, okay? No, but seriously, no, my lady, she's something else, but I love her to death. But, you know, gender roles they don't have a place for me. You know, I still do little things like take out the garbage, right? Like, you know, fix things in the house. Like, I want to be a man's man, right? So I'll follow them in that sense. But in terms of everything else, like, you know, we both cook. I think I'm a really good cook. You
take the better cook.
You know what? I won't say that. My girl is a really good cook, so shout out to her. But yeah, like, I don't think there's a real role in our home for, like, gender roles. We do everything, you know. We both share those tasks, and, you know, take care of the kids and change diapers, and, you know, she does, you know, she's been on maternity leave for some time now, so she does a lot of nightly duties with the baby, but, like, you know, if I need to, if she's tired, I'll step in and help out. So
awesome. Kevin, I know you kind of answered earlier, but gender roles.
Well, I just want to point out, we're in a beautiful time where fathers are stepping into parenting. Mm-hmm. I think when we think about that, the reason why I brought that gender roles comment up is because the immaturity that I had prior to becoming a parent, you would think that, hey, the mother's supposed to do this, the father's supposed to do this. But I enjoy just being a parent. Like, I enjoy going to doctor's visits. I enjoy going to recitals. I enjoy parent-teacher conferences. I enjoy doing homework. I enjoy changing diapers, because these moments you can never get back. And like I said, I think it all comes from the trauma that I experienced of my father not being able to do that. So I think just understanding that we are in a beautiful time. Like, I'm so glad that I'm surrounded by so much dope fathers, dope dads out there, because we need this in society. So I believe that, you know, we weren't meant to do this alone. This thing called life. Right. Mm-hmm. And especially when you have created life with somebody, it's not meant for someone to do it alone. So you having a partner and understand that there's nothing called roles or genders or anything like that. You want to make sure that you're doing this together. And I think that's the best way to raise a child.
Awesome. I agree with what everybody said in terms of gender roles, but I will have to take an L on the cooking part, because, you know, I mean, I tried that, but, you know, I kind of got voted off the island with that one. So.
You at least wash the dishes.
I do everything else. I tried.
Do you prep?
They didn't like meatloaf, so
I don't like meatloaf either.
So that's my take on that.